I'm Steve Gator, your host with the most weed from coast to coast. And it's 4:20 in Cali, and it's just a little
It's
after
7:20 in East Coast.
7:20 East Coast time, after 7:10. My man Lou's over here from Gene Train, taking some dab rips. I'm about to fire up this blunt. Thanks for joining in.
Appreciate you for having me, man. I'm about to roll up some sour diesel.
Right on. You're having that sour diesel situation going on over there
On Sunday.
this Sunday.
So a lot of controversy about it, honestly.
A lot of controversy around that sour.
Well, I mean, well, the thing about it ends up being is that, sorry about that, is that it hasn't been popular. You know how it goes, right? That the general market, like, we get whatever the general market ends up being demanding. If they, just want, I don't know, I don't know, booth galore. I don't think that exists. I'm saying booth galore.
It's out there, yeah, they'll buy it.
Like, oh, yo, you got that new booth galore?
They got one out here, super booth.
Yeah. So now with the East Coast coming on, the East Coast got really nostalgic. So they started thinking about piffs, sour diesel, skunks, all these raunchy flavors, right? That are old school, and have over the years stayed on that list. Now, what happened with a lot of these things, especially because of for example, dealing with like the 94 crime bill from 94 on, even though Cali ended up medically legalizing in 96, um, it doesn't mean that it was still sweet in 96. They still had the 3-strike rule.
Definitely.
People are doing life for joints.
Facts, true facts.
So
I've been in Cali since '98. I moved here right after shit got a little easier.
let me ask you, during 98, was it still like easy?
When I moved out to Cali in '98, I came out of Philly and I went straight out to Lake Tahoe. And there was a doctor out there going around giving people scripts. It was the first time I ever heard of anything like this. And the doctor would go meet you at Pino right on the other side of the state line in Nevada. And you go from Cali a couple blocks over up in a hotel and meet the doctor, and they write you a script. But we missed the first couple, sessions they had, so we drove up to this doctor's office. So when I came to Cali in '98, I was like, I thought Cali was already easy, but wait, you're telling me I can go get a card for $200 and then that's like my weed insurance card? Hell yeah, sign me up on that. And of course I've seen cannabis used medicinally my whole life, even though my parents were both, overusing a lot of other drugs. I've seen how cannabis was like medicine. So I already know it's medicine, but it was really like a kind of security card you could get when you moved in Cali. So it was like I moved out here. I was like, wait, and with that card I can grow my own weed too in the house, and it's all legit. And they were like, yup. And so I made really good friends with the dude at the corner who had just opened up a grow shop. Steve, shout out to Steve from the farm, Steve Mahler, and he made good friends with the dude that opened the grow shop. So I would get my gear from the dude, and we built a community of people right there. From the day I moved into town, I was like, holy shit, Cali is different. So that was my experience. Yeah. But at the same time, people were getting busted. But in '98, it started moving forward with these. The medical program actually started to take legs. You're right. '96, it got voted in, but it took until '98 before it actually started to unfold, where people started to.
Oh yeah.
To use their rights.
Well, so you guys were incredibly, fortunate because the rest of the country was dealing with the war on drugs on a high level. So what happened with a lot of these smelly, strains that people were growing, they stopped growing them because they were giving your fucking whole house away. This is like heavy, carbon filters and all that stuff too. So you ended up getting, quite a bit of things that just kind of just took a major step back.
Yeah, no, for sure. And when I moved out here in '98 and I seen this dude had a grow shop on the corner of the street I lived on. I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? You can get a card, and then this guy got all the gear. I had already gone to school for horticulture, and I already had been growing some weed back in Philly. Grew my first plants in the back of the baseball field where we grew up playing ball. But after I moved out there into California, I was like, this is too good to be true. So I like 3 years later, I moved out of Tahoe, and I moved up to Humboldt, up here. I'm up at the Bay today.
Oh, nice.
This would be a good spot to do it up here. Outside this Adorni Center, we're having Cannabis right at the same park, so I thought it'd be cool to come out here and chat about the
nice.
But I just saw an opportunity for myself to kind of get involved in the whole culture in a way where I could utilize my already skill set, which was gardening and farming and helping people. And then once the homie opened up a grow shop, I was like, damn, I want to have a grow shop myself. And that's what I did. That's how I got involved in the whole culture right away. I was like, I'm going to open a grow shop and show people how it's done. And I learned more than I could ever taught anybody in the beginning, for sure, right?
I tell people, there's no such thing as somebody that knows everything. I call myself a student of the plant. One day you're gonna run into a plant that you've never run across before, and you gotta learn that one plant. You're always a student of the plant, always.
Facts. Yeah, no, I feel like we serve the plants, like we're the servants. Like, not all of us, but the ones that are paying attention are in tune with what's going on. We're serving the plants. They got us doing all this dance and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Except for government's making it complicated though.
It's their job. They try to complicate things and make it hard for us to be free, right?
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get involved. It's like, please don't. Just stay over there. You guys fuck up enough shit.
Right? Yeah, legalization out here in Cali's been crazy, But from that Prop 215 days, like we were talking about when I first moved out here, to the type of recreational legalization that happened now, the whole culture went through a lot of shifts, and all this overtaxation, underrepresentation over here ain't doing us any good. That sure ain't making business any easier.
Yeah, the catalyst math is really funny.
Right? No, man, but I've been, thanks for joining me on here today and rapping and stuff. And I've been watching you do your thing from a distance. And I'm all the way out on the West Coast, up in Humboldt. I see you're moving around between New York and DC, mostly, it looks like.
No, from here to Oklahoma. Made it out to Oklahoma.
Yeah, right on.
It's fucking wild out there, bro.
Right? We took Cannabis there a year and a half ago, or like almost 2 years now. We went to Oklahoma and did a show down there, and they already went, like, I've been in Humboldt, and this thing, like, this bubble kind of took 20 years to blow up, kind of, from my perspective, since I've been here. But the Oklahoma one took like 4 years, and they blew up. And I saw ounces for like $120, or three ounces for $250 and shit. I was like, holy shit, this ain't no good.
And it's just medical. It's not even rec.
Not even rec. They just don't. It's just the Wild West over there. They don't give a fuck about nothing.
It really is the Wild West. People are getting shot. It is very Wild West.
Sketchy shit, for sure. No, but I seen, like, one day I saw you doing some pop-up in the Jersey Mall or something. I was like, what the fuck? This guy's crazy.
Oh, that was in Virginia Beach. I know, in Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk, Virginia, yeah, something. I was like, this guy is the man, dude. So that stuff got my attention because, like, with Cannabis, I did the first ever 4-state cultivation competition. Tell me about that pop-up.
Wait, all right. So that pop-up, oh my god. So that pop-up is in the North Fork, Virginia Mall, right? In MacArthur Mall, right? It was a storefront, hydro shop, slash CBD hemp. And the mall is actually owned by the city. So the security for the mall is actually the police department. So I'm standing in front trying to draw attention. Yo, come get your plants, come get your seeds, come get your lights, your grow equipment, all that shit. And the cops are walking by slowly and they're looking at me and I'm looking at them and I'm looking at the plant and I'm looking at them and they're looking at me and they're like, and I just wiggle it at them like, I'm like, God, it's like, there's nowhere to run.
Exactly, right? No, but I see that stuff, and it's that kind of stuff that is what it takes right now to get people's attention and to put this and to do the work for the plant. Like I said, she's got us doing these dances and stuff, and that's the dance I saw you doing. So that's inspiring, man. I just wanted to say thanks for doing that stuff because that's what it takes, and it reminds me of some of the stunts that we pull off, and most of the time I get pushed out in front, like, here you go, you had this idea, so go ahead and do it. And the one we did was a 4-state cultivation competition during COVID. I drove around to 4 states collecting samples and getting them to the judges. It was crazy. We pulled it off, but just doing that kind of stuff, pushing the envelope a little bit, is kind of like that's what we got. That's how we got to where we are. I don't know much about you at all, and like today, I'd like to find out a little bit more. It's like I'm assuming you like to push the boundaries of things, and that's probably in ways probably got you to wherever it is that you are right now. And tell me a little bit more, man. Like where are you from? Where'd you grow up and stuff? What kind of scene was that like?
So I'm Puerto Rican. I was born in Puerto Rico, but as a kid, I moved around a lot. And then my stepdad actually joined the Navy, and he moved around even more. Um, Ultimately, I mean, I lived in New York, Jersey, Texas, Virginia. I joined the Army myself too, so I jumped around too. I ended up in Connecticut because my stepdad ended up getting stationed in Connecticut in the Navy. And then once I
Okay.
graduated high school, I was running around and I ended up joining the Army. And then I ran around for a little bit for a few years. I
All
got
right.
out and I was going to design. I went to design school, visual fine arts. So, because I wanted to do branding and marketing, I needed something to just be out there and away from war, and I wanted to create. I wanted to actually like do something to put into the world.
Right
I
on.
became like promotion director from like 5 different radio stations. I ran concerts, massive concerts from out in Madison Square Garden to TD Gardens. The biggest festival was like 107,000. Like it was, I've done, marketing plans. I mean, marketing campaigns with Barnum and Bailey Circus before they closed down. That shit was
Oh
wild.
shit.
That was a lot
Oh
of fun.
shit.
I got to like, they still traveled by train, including the elephants, including all the animals. So when they get to
Yeah.
the rail yard, they have to walk the elephants from the rail yard to the arena. Me being part of
Crazy.
the marketing, I actually had to be there and I actually walk with the elephants. Yo, it was cool as fuck.
Cool, man. That's some cool
But they
experience.
retired all that shit now,
Yep.
though.
Yes, they did. No
So,
more circuses.
so around
Well, we
that
got some
time,
props.
so around that time, I ended up getting laid off during like the 2008, 2009 housing bubble crisis, 2 weeks before Christmas. So everything, it was gonna be a good Christmas. Had extra, kids were gonna get, it was gonna be great. And then I got laid off 2 weeks before Christmas, so everything I saved up, we had to save up for bills. So, you know, the the plant's always there whenever you need him. So I went back to dealing with the cannabis, and I because I was in Connecticut, neighboring Rhode Island, right? And in Rhode Island, they have reciprocity, so you didn't have to actually live in Rhode Island to actually have a caregiver's card. So I
Right. I
became a
remember that.
caregiver, growing weed for other patients and so forth. And you were able to actually get rid of your overages legally to an actual medical dispensary. Some states have it, some states don't. Some states took it away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Right on.
so at one point, I'm like, damn, I need a whole bunch of genetics for my patients. Got different, requirements, a little bit of this, a bit of that. And at the time, it's like going online with no information or going on ICMag and going through like 80 pages of motherfuckers like just talking shit back and forth. You ultimately get your information, not to shit out like that, but it's really funny watching, you know, So
Definitely.
I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, I have all the experience in throwing events, and I was like, fuck it, I put a genetics event together. At worst case scenario, at least I'll have a whole bunch of different type of genetics for my patients, and I'll be good for a while. It turns out I'm not the only one that needs a variety of genetics all the time, and that was 7.5 years ago.
Right on.
And I've been doing it ever since.
Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. So man, you remember the first time you got high? What that was like?
I do. I'll never forget it.
Talk to me about that a little bit.
15 years old, in the woods. I can feel my heart racing about the whole thing. I'm standing at, everyday roll, blah, 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 the normal puff, puff, pass. And I'm standing on top of this big ass rock, and I hit it 2 times. I cough a little bit, I pass it, and like 3 seconds later, I bust my ass off of this big ass rock. I just fall. And that was it.
Oh,
I fell for cannabis, literally.
Oh, shit, dude. First time out the gates, he came tumbling.
And that was it.
I guess you would never forget that, right?
No, it hurt.
Yeah. Well, I guess you inhaled, right?
I definitely inhaled. I've been smoking weed ever since. The difficult years was when I was in the Army. Very difficult.
Right. But where were you at? Where were you in the park when you were smoking? What town was that in, or city?
It was in New London, Connecticut.
New London, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. I was just hanging out with my boy over here at this the Humboldt Glass Blowers today. Danny, shout out to Danny out there. He's moving back from Humboldt. He's been out here for like 20 years, and he's moving back to Connecticut. He's got a daughter and a lady, and he's moving back to see family and stuff. It's been a while since he's been out there, but I swear he was talking about New London just a couple hours ago.
No shit. That's cool. I'm still in the area now. I ended up. It's wild. So while my Connecticut just legalized, right? So having kids and being in an illegal state, it's difficult. I ended up actually being part of I sat on zoning, planning zoning commission. I was actually like a very engaged individual politically in my city, and at the same time, all my business ended up, as far as I brand like that too, ended up being in other states, in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, anywhere but Connecticut.
Right.
Forever. But I just, this is where I keep my stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's legal now, so things are different.
Right on. Yeah, I was just over there last weekend, just north of Boston. I was my fiance, her family lives just over there. We came to visit with the kids and stuff. We had a little wedding shower, and we came over there. The weather was perfect. It's not too hot yet. Nice and cool at night. It was good. It wasn't too humid yet. I grew up in Philly and Jersey, so I'm used to that East Coast heat and that sticky.
Yeah, How? Is it me? Yo, is it really like? It seems looking like it's cloudy as fuck behind you. Like it seems like Cali seems more like New England nowadays. What's going on?
Well, there's a difference. Yeah, up here in Humboldt, people don't realize like Humboldt's way different up on the coast. We're at we're right on a bay. Right here is Humboldt Bay. This is this is Eureka, and this is Humboldt Bay. I'm looking at the mountains over here, and then out this way is the ocean. But this like overcast shit, we get this. That's what we usually get out here on the coast in the summertime because of all the water being there in the bay and stuff. It sucks the moisture in, and it creates this marine layer, they call it. But it's basically just low clouds that just get sucked into the bay, and it creates this microclimate. It's part of the reason why everybody knows Humboldt for that loud fucking herb, because it has like the terps are preserved really well on the coast. So everybody grows their weed up in the hills, but when you package it up and you get it on the coast stashed away, it lasts a long time. Like it barely ever gets above 80 degrees here on the coast.
Wow.
So it's a trip. You don't think people come to visit from back east and they forget to bring their sweatshirts. They're like, dude, I thought this was Cali. I'm like, it's Humboldt, bro. It's like this half the days of the year.
Damn.
But once we get into like August and September and October, that's kind of, we have a later drier season. You know, it's like you have a wet season and a dry season here more than you have like spring, summer, fall, and winter. It's more like a wet season and dry season.
Mm.
A wet season's like 6 months and dry season's like 3. You know,
Mm. It's been weird up here. It feels like it's taking every year. It's taking a little longer for summer to like really kick in. Like it's a little chilly today, and you know it got hot, but like it went back to chilly like really fast. And it's supposed to be warmer. Farmers, I've been talking to a few farmers, and I mean like regular like food farmers, and they're like, "Yo, something needs to happen. It needs to warm up. Like, what the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, it is weird. It's been a weird year out this way as well. A lot of the farmers here, I sell grow supplies, right? And for 23 years, I've been selling fertilizer, lights, fans, filters. You know, I first started selling from a grow shop that I opened up here in Humboldt, and then I started a wholesale company, and we traveled around selling. House and Garden was the nutrient line I brought to the U.S. I was the first dude to ever use
Yo,
it.
their fucking memes are fucking hilarious, yo. The IG.
Right.
Yo, whoever's running their IG, fucking funny, bro. Fucking hilarious.
Funny stuff.
I repost a lot of their shit.
Nice. Yeah, they did make it tight. I don't even know who does it now, but yeah, hats off to them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hydro Farm took over the company like 2 years, year and a half ago. So somebody on the squad over there is doing a good job.
Whoever it is funny as fuck.
But traveling around trying to keep all the gromies. That's what I like calling all the homies and everybody growing at home. I have a partner out in Missouri. We got a grow shop out there, Grow Active Solutions, and Bo's my partner out there. He runs Immaculate Seeds as well, our seed bank. So just trying to keep the home grow community thriving is really like, that's where the love comes from. That's of really what I do on just people that love the plant and love to share. You know, that's our community, and we do these competitions and all this different stuff. And I see you do similar things. So tell me a little bit more about this sour diesel situation you're doing. What do you guys? You have is it a competition? Is it like a swap meet? What are you guys doing over there?
So generally we just do like Gene Trader events or like GT Selects grower club events, smaller events, just growers getting together because you know, knowing, you know, as a grower, like it's hard sometimes for us to like get away from our plants. It's sometimes impossible to go on vacation. Like we get really stuck. So sometimes it's nice to get together with other growers and really like, you know, just kind of like share growing pains, literally.
Definitely.
Last year, myself, Gene Traders, and Piff Coast Farms decided to put on PiffCon. The first one ended up being early January of 2022. They just held the second one in March.
Okay.
And the purpose of it ended up being is like, yo, they say that Piff is dead, it's gone, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, no, it's not. I was like, there gotta be, you know, we knew like about 2 or 3. So there's gotta be other people around the country. And we put on the competition, and you know, we gave them enough time because we had 2 categories: the under 74 days and above 75 days. Because you know, haze being, you know, could be all over the place, and Piff being a type of haze. People are like, you should have called it haze con. No, haze has a huge variety of terpene profiles, but we're talking about this specific type of haze. Right?
Yeah.
So we went out and we ended up getting like 33 entries, which showed clearly that Piff was alive and well, more than fine. Like I think the top one ended up being like, I think it ended up being like the winner ended up being like 28%, and like high terpene profile, I think it ended up being like 4 or 5, something like that too. And it was 86 days. but fire.
Dude.
By Bronson Farms out of Maine. Maine got always amazing fucking growers.
Maine always has the home growers keeping it real up there.
Always, yo. They're fucking wild up there. I love it.
Yeah, maniacs. The maniacs.
That's it.
I love them.
So after that, right, we also ended up announcing Skunk Con to search for skunk. Same idea, same concept. Ran into a big problem. Pretty much nobody had it in rotation, meaning they had it in a vault in the back, which they have to now rehunt out, which takes time. Definitely not enough time to be in the competition.
Right.
So it was a national competition. People were arguing about this shit. At a certain point, I think it was like Aficionado and Tom McCormick were going at it.
I saw that, yeah.
This shit was that. So that whole skunk debate started from myself and Piff Coast Farms were guests on the Adam Dunn show talking about PiffCon, and that's when we actually announced.
Nice. Right. This one I was just smoking here is GTR from Aficionado. It's that fresh strain GTR blunt. I got the homies trading card right here.
Nice.
And we do the strain card. So on the back, it's got all the genetic facts. GTR is it's the G6 jet fuel times the Topanga Canyon OG back cross on the original sour diesel.
That's what's up. Yeah.
It's a goodie. But yeah, anyway, you just brought up Aficionado. I thought I'd give him a shout out since I'm puffing that blunt right now.
Oh yeah, so the second we announced it on Adam Dumb Show, everybody who's like old school, anybody started saying, "I got the seeds. I got the seeds." Everyone saying, "I got it," and I'm not sharing it. But nobody produced the flower. We always tell people like, "You can tell me everything you want. The flower's gonna tell the story all by itself."
That's it. That's it.
Not a single person showed up. Why? Because everybody started re-hunting everything out.
Right on.
So it's taking time, but it's coming back forth. There's only one place, and the biggest part about this ends up being about the stories, right? How it took place, where it came from, how it moved forward, like, you know, the creation of Piff and how it ended up being a New York favorite. The journey starts in the West Coast with Sam the Skunk Man leaving to Amsterdam using NO5 and an African haze type, crossing it to create Piff, a Cuban family traveling from Florida to Amsterdam on vacation, grabbing seeds, going back to Miami, hunting it out, and then didn't want to grow it anymore. Reached out to Flamingo.
Right.
Flamingo's like, holy shit, that Fino's better than mine. Took the feed, said I accepted the Pheno, started pumping it and shipping it to New York.
There you go.
And then ultimately started growing in Washington Heights.
Right on.
Yo, to get that story took a good year.
I love it, dude. I love it. That's the way. That's exactly why that's why I wanted to hit you up and see what's going on with you guys, because I see you're digging around in some of the greatest spots to be digging and stuff right now, and that's what it's all about, man. The love for the plant, the history and the heritage and the culture behind people that love this plant and what we do to make this thing happen the way it is. And right now this thing's blowing up across the world and all this stuff, and there's a lot of hype around legal weed and or whatever weed, personal use weed, whatever you want to call it. I always call it the legends market. The legends market. You know, that's like before it was legal, legends were created, and that's the market. Because everybody was, you know, black market's obviously like not the right term. It's like it's definitely rooted in some racism shit, and we don't call it that, you know. So we try to. For me, I always talk about the legends market, you know, and I've seen a lot of people using legacy, right? This is one of the things we were in a chat on the same chat, and then I was like, yo, let's have this chat in person. So let's talk about legacy for a minute, because it is one of these terms that it's definitely used for marketing and branding and all this, right? But for me in Humboldt, it had a certain flavor when it started coming to the forefront, when people were talking about how to market Humboldt together, and they're talking about these like the Back to the Land movement and the hippies that moved up to Humboldt um, after the Haight Ashbury movement and stuff, and people started moving up out in the hills and growing weed in the early '60s and stuff like this, right? And from there, this whole culture kind of evolved up here. Bikers were involved, natives were involved, locals were involved, lots of people from out of town, cartels and organized crime, and everybody's involved at this point at some point or another. East Coast, West Coast, European, Russians, everybody. You name it. Everybody's repping in Humboldt at some point in Northern California in this like free cannabis space. It was for so many years, you know, and like there's a lot of entitlement on certain levels to different people. I moved here as an outsider 23 years ago, and I still think a lot of people look at me like he's not a local, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of other people are like, "How long you been here?" I'm like, 23 years. When I was 23, I moved here. They're like, "Oh, you're a local," and like
Mm-hmm.
I felt more like a local after 10 years, right? But I've always had a problem with that local thing a little bit too, to be honest. It's a little bit in one way it's a way to be a part of something cool and support the local and all this. And in another way, it's a discriminatory way to keep other people out of your shit because they didn't grow up here because they're not fifth generation or whatever. So there is a little bit of sediment to this local aspect that I think floods into legacy as well, where a lot of like the word in the literal sense talks about like a number of things, but one of them that people identify with here a lot is um, fifth generation, so they got left a legacy handed down kind of a thing because somebody else left it behind and somebody else keeps it going. You know, I was just reading the newspaper, or not the newspaper, but I was reading the local news on my phone about a local farmer who's a cattle farmer. He's a dairy farmer. He's the last dairy in town. And the word he had legacy in there a couple times. His grandfather left it to his father, and he decided to move from wherever he was back to this town and try to save the last dairy in town just because it was legacy to him. It was part of his family's that kind of legacy. And then you hear a lot of like younger kids. I seen him like this kid's been growing weed for like 5 years, and he does it all good. It's all you know, uh, living soil, and he's doing regenerative, and he's friends with Dragonfly Earth Medicine, and he's friends with everybody and doing all the good stuff, and he's
Mm-hmm.
in the band and keeping it real and super cool dude and stuff, and then he's claiming legacy, right? He's legacy. I'm a legacy farmer. It's like so there's this branded piece to it too from Humboldt, I'll say, from North Cal, that has this like organic vibe, regenerative farming. And the concept is that if we treat the earth right, we can leave a legacy behind. I think is what the is where it comes from on that side, right? And there's other versions too. And those are the two I just wanted to spit out there real quick in the beginning of the conversations because that's what I've seen from this space out here. People claiming legacy. I'm not claiming legacy personally. I'm just saying, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. And so I'm going around asking people at some events. I got a bunch of videos we'll be dropping all year and stuff. I'll keep asking the questions. What do you think about legacy? What's it mean to you? So, Lou, tell me, what's legacy mean to you?
So from what you described it, that would end up definitely fitting into the textbook definition of what legacy ends up meaning, right? It's always your parents, your grandparents, something like that passed on, or you ended up doing the same footsteps as your parent or your grandparents, right?
Right.
Very textbook definition. So the when I first started seeing it, it was um a way to like, right, there's when a new state comes in, right, like, oh, we want to give you the equity program for somebody that got arrested, so on and so forth, but you basically have to admit that you were doing it illegally.
Yes. Yes.
So how do we do that? That like, oh, the black market, because it has such a negative connotation to it. How do you do that, right? In a more kind of positive sense of way.
Right.
So they started using the legacy market.
The legacy market.
Right, which ends up meaning that those first group of hippies that wanted to just be in the hills naked and just not be fucked with, which I totally fucking get and I love. I love that shit. Like
Right.
just naked, just building shit, growing weed. That's fucking awesome. I love it. And I think that's amazing. And I have friends that you're like second, third generation on the hill, like
Yeah,
on the mountain. I get it. Like
definitely.
that is definitely legacy. But we also know about people that did it on the low, that lived a totally secondary life. Might have did it for medical reasons or just because it needed to be done. And like we knew that the law is wrong, so
Yeah,
we're gonna do otherwise.
for sure.
And that's why you saw me say a lot more that legacy ends up being when your state was illegal and you were doing it,
Yep.
right? Okay. Like you wasn't doing it because it's legal now. It's not, yo, I can like, they're not gonna fuck with me. Like,
Right.
of course, bro. Like, you mean they're not gonna fuck with me? I'm definitely doing it now.
Right.
Before all that, when this
Okay.
shit was scary as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're from Philly, like it's still illegal as fuck there.
You know it is, dude. Yeah, it is. I mean, they decriminalized an ounce or whatever years ago,
Yeah.
but you got to have more than an ounce most of the time. Unless you're just trying to get high. I'm trying to stay high. No, but I agree with what you're saying, and I understand that too. And like I always reference that lately. I've been calling that like the legends market,
Yeah.
because I'm trying to give respect to people that did that before us, and what we have now are a lot of younger people. They just never had an opportunity to even be in that position, so you can't blame them and stuff like that. And then
Right.
and then cannabis community is pretty much an open armed community. So if it's like if somebody was a cop their whole life and then all of a sudden they started smoking weed, usually we're like, come on in, we love you. It's all
Yeah, that's cool. I don't
to
mind
some
them
degree,
smoking
right?
weed.
To some
I'm
degree.
not for them making money from it though.
Right. No,
I
no.
just
No, when they come in and they're like, "Oh, I just want to come in and make money off you fools or whatever," fuck that shit. And there's plenty of
yeah,
those, and that's where the Chads come in and all that stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, but no, just trying to keep it
Because
chill, trying to keep the
yeah,
community first,
but
and do
just it's just that thing. Like all that shit that you guys were growing out in on the '90s, right? That a lot of it was being shipped to the East Coast. There are some that were doing it in the East Coast when it was incredibly illegal.
for
We
sure.
didn't have that. We didn't have a Humboldt County. We
Right.
didn't have a mountain. We didn't have good
No,
weather. We
everybody just said
definitely don't have good weather.
no, back east, dude. I don't know if it was happening where you were, but everybody would just say, "Oh, it's from upstate New York." It wasn't from upstate New York. That was some
What, the
indoor.
sour?
Oh no, I'm just saying no. Like back in the
Oh yeah, those
in the
were no,
early
no, no. That's where they
mid
were.
90s.
They were.
Yeah,
They were. A
back
lot
in
of them
New
were
York.
either two places, either more towards the Washington Heights and a few spots around the city, but mainly ended up being more upstate because it's more woods.
Yeah, out in the cornfields and shit is where I always used to, hear that the herb came from. A lot of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but we used to get a lot of Jamaican weed back in Philly too. I'm sure you guys did too.
a lot of Jamaican weed.
That was always some of the better weed, the Jamaican shit.
Yeah, boy.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so it was.
legacies are built, not bought. That's what I wanted to. I know you could agree with that, and that's the title I gave
Yes.
our talk today because that is no matter which side you're coming from. I think everybody can agree on the legacy thing. Legacies are built. You can't buy the word legacy and then just throw it on your label, and then all of a sudden now, whether you're a legal brand or a trap brand or whatever, you're you can't just buy that shit. You gotta build a legacy, or someone else has to. It's hard work, you know.
Hmm.
Doing all this work is hard, And yeah, but we
It
touched
is.
on
It's it.
we touched on some like classic genetics and stuff. What other kind of classics are you working with lately, or what kind of stuff? are hot on your list
Oh my god.
on the genetic lines?
So I I'm growing all the new shit, right? Everything that's coming out, but you know how this shit goes. So and so hands you like that too. So I'm cultivating all that stuff,
Right on.
and at the same time I got it in my head like 2 years ago to start popping all those shit. So I started hitting up old school breeders and they're like, yo, send me all that shit, man. People that nobody that was looking for.
Yeah.
Like I was like, fuck, I want to grow all that shit. I don't give a fuck if it has herm potentials like that. I want to grow all that shit. I want to knock all that shit off my list.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I found an MK Ultra and the Hog,
A hog.
bro. And
Nice.
so there's no cut running around. So I ended up fucking hunting out my own cut.
Nice. You got the hog cut, huh? All right.
Bro, I just chopped one down. She's a shorty. She's thick though. She's weird. She's funky as hell. Real funky.
Yeah, that's always the funky shit right there, dude. The hog breath, dude. Hog's breath.
Hog's breath. Yeah, so I just got into my head because fuck it. Like we need good variety within our gene pool to consistently be going around to make sure that we don't end up running into one of those potential Monsanto cornfield type of shits where now it all belongs to one company. The
That's
best
right.
way to do that is to keep a massive variety.
Keep cracking them and crossing them. They can't
But we
stop.
need the old shit. We need the old shit, the new shit.
Bring it together.
Yeah.
Bring it
So the
together.
sour diesel ended up being on my list too as well. And I already grew it before and I smoked it before plenty times, but it seemed like took a major step back, for a long time, like so there's different phenos that are running around the country now. There's like the AJ cut, there's the Wing Wang cut, there's the West Coast cut, there's the Res cut.
The res cut. Nice.
So there's the East Coast sour diesel cut, like so there's different phenos of this running around the country, but literally like a small amount of people continue to keep it alive. Everybody else just moved on to whatever's hot, or what I'm saying, or breeding their own shit.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of cakes and candies and desserts are still pretty hot. What are you seeing? What's hot on? What else is hot on your list? What kind of trends do you see coming, or what kind of trends would you like to see
I
besides
want I want those old flavors back. I
what
want
type
that
of weed?
DJ Blueberry short. I
Right.
want those fucking. I want that Cal Cushman. Strawberry cough. Because I know he's doing some lunch or something like that to hand out a whole bunch of cuts like that too. I was like, dude, I'm on the East Coast. I can't fucking go. Like, but yeah, I want to grow. I know it's not like I'm for the experience of growing that specific plant. And some people they forget, they get mad when they grow some of these older genetics and they don't produce like oh my god, it's a bullshit. I'm like, yeah, but it's not for that. It's for the flavor.
Right.
That's why you're growing it.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's why a lot of those things go away. People just don't give them the time and energy they want. And some plants take different techniques to grow. Most, all plants have their preferences and more that like, a lot of the hydro industry kind of got taken over by corporations and big companies like GrowGen and stuff like that. And not that that's a bad thing necessarily, but there's been a decline in the quality of what the average home grower puts out in now times. I would say some of the best consistent weed that I was seeing was like 10 and 12 years ago. People, 15 years ago, people in this market in Humboldt, people just put more time and energy and money into their cultivation, and then as soon as the price started to slip, it's just been a downward cycle of the base level of cannabis. I'm not saying to everybody anything. I'll never make a general statement like that. But from my perspective, and many others, the qualities come down to match the price, right? It's like if you don't want to pay me nothing, then you're gonna get what you get. You get, super booth. Here you go.
What you want, that's what you want here.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true. And it makes it difficult because now we're like, damn, I'm tired of all that shit. That doesn't make, like it's so bad. but you end up getting, and then you end up getting a lot of new growers that they want to like automate everything, right? Everything has to be very sterile, blah blah. But the plant stresses is what gives it its complexity. And if
Yeah.
you keep that shit always serene,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna plateau.
That's it. Got to mix it up. You know, I I believe in all the biology. You know, you gotta. I always tried to like emulate Mother Nature the best I could from the first time I grew my up in the window into the closet. That shit was dirty. I was spraying shit, made a mess. Like I had the fan on, blowing them, spraying it to make it heavy. Just thinking through. I'm like, all right, when it rains outside, it makes them stronger, and these things look weak. So, you know, some people don't have that intuition, and they just get into the weed thing. Maybe they just like to get high, or they like purple flowers, or they like that money, they like that moolah. So,
The money's nice. I ain't gonna lie, the money is nice. Well, excuse me, it's not currently. I think we're going through like an industry correction. Last year, 2022, we hit a bubble.
yeah,
Inflation, like we just popped a
yeah,
fake economy, a false economy that we are like based on of like dealing with a pandemic. Everybody had an extra $600 and they were at home. You can't drink all day, but you can smoke all day. So they just bought weed.
right.
Like you remember, like the dispensary, everybody was running out
Oh, yeah,
3 months into that shit.
definitely.
That shit was
Yeah,
wild,
it was.
but it was great. And then we hit 2022, and we had an overproduction of high THC, high yield, no flavor,
Right.
flooded
We
the
stuff
streets.
and the economy, right? There were so many more people home from work, dude, for real, right? The grow shop seeing a bunch of new faces sitting at home on COVID, fire up the basement. You know, I saw some of that for sure. Now now it's like it settles back down because at least half the people that start to grow weed because they think they're gonna make money or whatever just stop after they realize they don't got a green thumb and that shit's a little harder than they thought. And then there's some people they'll be up all night long hitting their heads on the lights, like probably like you and me, um, because we're in there looking at the roots and checking out those new sprouts and seeing if the seeds popped yet. And there's
Mhm,
just people
mhm.
that love it for the sport, for the love of the plant, and that's what brings. That's how that plant brings us together. It's because if you when you have a love for something like that and other people do, it's like a religious experience. It's like going to
Oh
church when we get together in big groups. It has that same to me when I was a kid and I went to the church and I was in belief of the same system everybody was doing there. There's a good feeling. You think you're connected through all this stuff, and then to be connected through a plant that grows from a little seed into this magical medicine and shit. That's a pretty dope. That's a pretty dope community to be a part of.
it's honestly the growers community is separate from the rest of the cannabis industry community. Like
Yep.
it's we're our small group. We know very easily. We can name off a whole bunch of people that we already know each other. You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's not like it's just even nationally, it's a small community.
Definitely.
And I have been to some locations that politically, religiously, I have completely no kind of like common ground with these people.
Right.
But the plant, once we talking about the plant, there's a massive connection. There's something like human to human taking care of a plant and understanding how it all like whatever the fuck our point of views are doesn't matter.
Right. True facts, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, it's a good thing to connect us, man. And you should check out this thing we're doing. I know I dropped it once or twice, but we're doing this festival right at this park right here, CannaFest.
Cannafest.
Cannifest. It's our cannabis manifest festival
Mm.
and trade gathering, and we started it in 2016, and we did it in 2017, both here in Humboldt, and then in 2019 we went out to St. Louis, and then we went to Oklahoma City, and Chicago was the last one, like a year and a half ago or something. And then we're bringing it back here to Humboldt this year. But we do a cultivation competition called the Head Stash Championship, is what it's called this time, and it's open to all adults in California because every adult in California can grow their own weed legally and submit samples and try to take the 10K. So we're giving out over 10K of cash and prizes, plus we get
Fire.
a trophy. But you know as well as I do, the most important part is they get the bragging rights.
Oh, it changes
Bragging
people.
rights.
That changes. Like company becomes successes. Like it does. The record just on the recognition. I always say like the recognition of the grower, regardless of wherever the fuck they grow.
Right.
But the grower is what decides what that ultimately is gonna end up being.
Right. Yeah. And these
That's dope.
competitions are great because you got people that come out from all different angles. They've been doing whatever and whatever. But when it comes down to it, like if you got the best weed, hats off. Everybody's got their hat off to you, you know? And it's a great experience, you know. And we did the first one ever in Missouri, the first cultivation competition. We called it the Mo Homegrow Bowl. And let's see, uh, oh man, what's his name? Oh shit, the Cannabinator won that one with some purple city genetics. That stuff is fire. It's been a few years. I'm forgetting the names of stuff. Sorry, folks, um, but just doing those competitions really brings all the people out, and you know, everyone always says they got the best shit. We just tell them, come on, put it to the test. We picked like 50 judges for this, and then we're gonna pick 40 community judges from all these applications we get, and then all the weeds due on July 29th, and we get it out to the judges. The judges will have like a month to hang out with the weed and decide what they think's best. And then the night before CannAbyss, we'll have a big party. We'll tell them who won. We'll have a brand premiere party. It's a private event we'll have hopefully at the Eureka Theater over here in town. And yeah, no, that's what we're doing out here. I don't know if you ever get out this way or not, but I'd like to invite you to come out to Humboldt County in early September, dude, and come check out CannAbyss and see what Humboldt
Yeah,
offers,
I'm
dude.
down. I'm not doing September. The plants are still they're like towards the end like that. There's nothing to do.
Right?
Like
Yeah, yeah.
they're just out there.
We have what we do over here too at CannAbyss is something called the seed swap circus, and that's our favorite shit for the most part, as far as on the genetic side, because we encourage people to bring some extra beans to put into this magic box we have, and everybody puts a pack or two in there, and you write down what it is, you document what it is, whatever information you want to share, and you put it in there, and all day people put them in, and all the breeders and everybody who got a table and at the booth and everybody who's slanging beans and clones, everybody throws a couple packs in, and then everybody that puts stuff in comes back at 420, and we pull random packs out and hand them to the next person up, and you just get, you know, it's a fun thing we do. But what really happens is we bring all the breeders and seeders and seed junkies together, and we're swapping and trading, and there's beans for sale. We got clones. It's all hemp, as you know.
It's all hemp.
It's all hemp, and
No, it is.
that's what we do. Yeah, so I invite you out, man. I'll tell you what, if you make it out this way, I got your hotel rooms, but I'll put you up in a couple rooms and give you some VIP passes. And come join us and see what Humboldt has to offer, dude.
I'm definitely. I have to. I feel like that going out to Humble is like it's a pilgrimage. I think every stoner should end up making the pilgrimage to Humble. It's just part of the culture, part of the community, and I think it's important as fuck to like really like just sess out there.
Right? I'm literally down here at this park, in this building. The city's helping sponsor this event, and there's actually some kind of bird just diving right down right there. Oh, that's a sea lion right there eating food, dude. Look at that. Oh, it just dunked under. You can barely see it. But there's wildlife here, dude. There's a bunch of this is the marina, and then back over here is the park. I hope the reception will probably get whacked if I walk over there, so I ain't even gonna do it. But
Yeah, no,
I'm right down here at the park. It's a beautiful spot, and this is where we're gonna do it, man. Build a couple stages out there in the field. We got some world class music. We're about to start telling people who we're booking and stuff here. And
nice.
yeah, we'll have an open consumption on the whole event. We do grow games. It's like 4-H kind of farm games, but it's for like cannabis farm games. So it's like the plant repot hustle. You gotta see who can repot plants quicker.
I love it, yo.
We do
That sounds awesome.
we do the irrigation triangle. You got to figure out all the different hoses and fittings to connect.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
And we
Yeah.
try to have a lot of fun, and we do a parade on Sunday through town from one end of Eureka through Old Town, and then we're gonna dump the parade out right over under that bridge and have a little shindig before we come in on Sunday right outside the gates. And we just really do everything that we can think of community wise. We'll have at least 200 to 300 different exhibitors and vendors and booths set up out here. It's gonna be a big situation here, and yeah, we're just trying to reach out to everybody and spread the word and spread the love.
That's fire, man. It's fucking awesome. I'm definitely gonna put that shit on my calendar, man. Gonna have to, head out there and have a good time. It's so wild because like, uh, depending on what state you're at, like it's like you just said, it's like, oh, very nonchalantly, oh yeah, the city's involved, they're supporting it, blah blah blah, like that too, like normal life event type of stuff. Unlike some places, is like we're the first one ever in the
Right,
state. It's just like this
right.
huge deal, and promoters
Yeah,
are scared shitless. Like, yo, are they really gonna fucking let us have it?
definitely. 2016, dude. That's how it was.
Holy shit!
We did the first like cannabis festival in Humboldt in 2016, and to just try to get everybody feeling good about it, we did the parade, and people were like, "You're gonna do a what?" I'm like, "A parade? You guys don't do parades on the East Coast? We do parades. Like
We do parades, yeah.
Puerto Rico Day Parade in New York is one of the craziest parades you could see, or the Mummers Parade in Philly, dude, the craziest parades people do back east.
Mm. I'm
Like
actually doing the day that weekend. I'm actually doing something in New York dealing with the Puerto Rican like support. Like I'm Puerto Rican, so like a whole bunch of Puerto Rican, people from the like got businesses in the industry and grow and stuff like that too. Gonna end up coming out. It's gonna be really dope. And then actually I got to go to South Jersey after that for a home growers cup, like private one too, which is
crazy,
dope
dude.
as fuck. It's
That's
fucking
dope.
crazy, dude.
I grew up in I was born in Philly, where all my family's from, and then my parents moved down to South Jersey by Cape May County, Wildwood, and shit. I grew up down there, and then when I was like 12, I moved back up to Philly, and I lived up there. So South Jersey, dude, you're talking my language there.
Bro, I was just talking to somebody about holding a private event in Philly, bro, in South Philly.
Yeah,
Dealing
we
with
can
no
connect,
bullshit, dealing with like the crypto guys too, the apes and all that, bro.
oh, let's talk, dude. We got some friends and family in Philly. We'll have to connect after this. I was hoping we would collaborate on some ideas and shit after chatting for a little bit, and I'm sure we will. But you got my number, I got yours and stuff, dude. It's been a good chat. I try to keep it to an hour usually, dude. And, I'm not trying to take up your whole life and stuff, man. I just wanted to give a shout out and say thanks for what you're doing, and yeah, keep rocking that stuff. And I wanted to invite you out here to Humboldt, come and hang out with us at CannFest, dude. And we're gonna have people from all over the state, all over the country. Will be out here, and just wanted to send the invite.
Dope, man. Yeah, I'm accepting. Let's get some details and put it on the calendar, all that stuff, bro.
Yeah.
I'm I love this. I love this community. I love just connecting with other people. I don't think I've ever had this many like type of dopest conversations and stories that people just share with each other. I think it's the coolest shit ever. I love this stuff, man. I love it.
Yeah.
And this is why I encourage you continue. I want Everybody start a podcast. I don't give a fuck. Because
Right?
all these stories are being documented. All the stuff that we just told from one grower to the next.
Yeah.
Like, nah, now we can actually put that shit down.
True. It's true. We don't have to just rely on something that somebody told somebody that told somebody else, and they ain't around no more. So now we do it like this. You know, having a little bit, being able to be proud of shit too, to the rest of the world, really changed the way people feel. You know, a lot of especially people. You know, I've been growing in my closet since I was 16. You know, I'm 46, dude. So that's 30 years, man. So just to be able to be proud of what you do is different. You know, you could be proud to little pockets of people, but when we do when you do a big festival with the support of the city and the Chamber of Commerce and the Humboldt Lodging Alliance and the Visitors Bureau, come on, everybody's in now. Now it just feels better. The whole community is going to be here, and people in the community can be proud of what this community represents.
It's so much easier when they just stop acting up. It's still just on the government.
Yeah, it is. It's real, you know. But we got to keep normalizing this shit and keep it up, dude.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you doing, do your job, asking asking people's opinions. It's nothing, like, yo, let the stories, man. And I tell people too, it's something that I think not enough people are doing as well. They're not taking accountability for their own words that come out of their mouth.
Exactly, right?
Like you said it.
Yeah. Now what do you think about it, right? Yeah, no, man, it's good. Yeah, keep having integrity out there. If anybody's listening and they want to know what they should do, it's like just try to have a little integrity with your game. That's all.
Yeah, a little bit. I know it's a cutthroat game, and this shit's harsh, and
Yeah.
just a slice, just an eighth worth, an eighth of integrity. Have that.
There you go. I like it. Right on, bro.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man, having me on, bro.
I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for having me too.
Same as well, man. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.
You do the same. Peace. Thanks for tuning in, people. My name's Steve Geeter. And that was my man Lou with Gene Traders. Check him out if you don't follow him. Follow him now. He's doing some good stuff out there. If you're on the East Coast and you need to get some beans, hit the man up. He can help you out. He's got some bad cuts too, it sounds like. But man, I had a great time today, and I hope you did too. If you don't follow us here on this YouTube, subscribe to this channel. And if you're watching this on the old Instagram, then make sure you follow us so you can find out when I'm doing more of these interviews. Because my name's Steve Geeter, and I'm your host with the most weed from coast to coast. And I'm out here on the West Coast. And that was Lou from the East Coast. And this was Into the Cannabis. Thanks for joining me. And I hope you have a great weekend. Until next time, peace.